So first off, Senator, I'd like to start with the news this week about the shooting down in Texas. Should the Uvalde shooting be the moment that prompts Congress to reform gun laws?
Well, the shooting was just tragic. You know, as a dad, I cannot imagine the pain that those parents are going through right now, and the fear of all the parents in that school not knowing what might have happened to their kid who went to school that morning. So my heart goes out to them. Also, I thank the law enforcement folks, including the Border Patrol. As you know, we have jurisdiction of the Border Patrol on my committee, and their SWAT team apparently was the one that went in and actually took this guy out. And some of the Border Patrol agents had family, had kids at that school as well. Yeah, look, I think this is an opportunity for us to figure out something together. I know that Senator Schumer has said that he's not going to pursue partisan legislation at this point, which is a good sign, because sometimes we do that here. We put bills up, either Republican or Democrat bills we know no one else on the other side is going to support, just as a message. Messaging is not what's needed now. It's to actually try to do something that would help. It's a challenge, frankly, to find out what would help. I mean, you think about this situation. This kid's 18 years old, no mental health adjudication, so when he goes to get a weapon, there's no ability under our current instant background check to deny him for a mental health reason. Obviously, he had serious mental health issues. His grandmother, who he shot, or someone else in his family or a friend, obviously you would think would have known about his proclivity to do this, and if they'd been willing to report it, that could have stopped this. That's why I think the red flag idea has some merit. And then obviously the school itself, could it have been better protected? Of course it could have. Why didn't they take advantage of the proposals we already have out there, the funding we've already provided? Most people think we should provide even more funding now. I think that's probably true, to be able to ensure that schools have best practices and can really harden themselves. So I think there's a number of areas where there's the potential for trying to do something here that would not take away people's Second Amendment rights, would not do away with due process in terms of the red flag issue, but would move us forward. The broader issue, Taylor, as you know, is mental health. I mean, we have right now a lot of things going on health-wise. We have a pandemic, we have an epidemic on the drug issue, particularly the opioid issue, particularly on fentanyl. But we also have another issue that we aren't talking about, which is an explosion of mental health and behavioral health issues, behavioral health including drug issues. And Cincinnati Children's Hospital just started a whole new program in this, and the demand is sort of insatiable. And other children's hospitals around the state are telling me that this is their number one concern right now. And we see it expressed in what happened in this tragic situation in Texas, but we see it also in other ways, manifested it in different ways around the country, that for a variety of reasons, we have an increasing number of young people who are facing mental health challenges.
In terms of access to the weapons, the authorities have said this shooter in Texas was able to legally purchase 2 AR-15s, 375 rounds of ammo right after he turned 18. In Ohio right now, an 18-year-old can also legally purchase an AR-15 with no waiting period. Do you think that should change, whether in Ohio specifically or nationally?
Well, I'm willing to look at that. When you're 18 years old, you're asked to be prepared to fight for your country. If you're in the military and potentially die for your country. So, I think 18 has been considered to be the age at which you become an adult. So maybe there's a way to deal with that in terms of waiting period, maybe increasing the age. But again, I don't think that's going to get at the core problem. Which is when somebody is clearly identified as having an issue, why is that not brought to the attention of law enforcement, of school officials, of the mental health community? And then how do you deal with this? I won't call it an epidemic because I'm not sure it meets that criteria exactly, but we have a large number of young people who are facing these mental health challenges right now. And some say it's social media related. Others turn to parenting. Others say that COVID exaggerated it or exacerbated the problem. but that's sort of a core issue of our culture right now. And the gun violence issue, as you know, is not related solely to these mass shootings. We have over 100 gun killings every day. Most of them are suicides, again, going to the mental health issue. And then the next biggest group, of course, is people getting shot through gangs, drugs, protecting their turf. That happens in our cities in Ohio every night. And so we got a broader issue here to address as well.
Lastly on this, and then I just want to cover a couple other topics. Data compiled by Open Secrets and the Brady campaign list you in the top 10 for senators who have taken the most money from the NRA, either in support of you or against your opponents over your career, just over $3 million. Critics say that that type of financial support has clearly motivated how you have voted on previous gun legislation and how you're approaching this debate now. Is that criticism fair?
No.
Could you expand on that?
I mean, it's never affected me, and it wouldn't. I mean, the reason the NRA is effective in Ohio is that they have a lot of members and a lot of people who aren't even members of NRA who feel strongly about this issue. And I respect that. As I said earlier, I think due process rights should be protected. We're not talking about taking guns away from people who are following the law, who are legal gun holders and who are law-abiding citizens. We are talking about getting at those individuals who want to do harm and making sure they don't get access to firearms.